Welcome to Last Week in Warframe, a series where I keep you updated on the past week of Warframe by compiling all news, announcements, and general posts by the developers from the forums, Reddit, Twitter, and even their live streams. Timestamps to each topic as well as their sources are in the description, so without further ado, let's go over these announcements and news from the 3rd to the 23rd of February. To start this episode off, we had Devstream 138, which focused on the sound team. Now, it's very interesting stuff, but I won't be playing all their clips here, so if you do want to know about all of that, the link to the Devstream is in the description. As for the announcements, they announced the lovely date of Tennocon, so it's the 11th of July. Prime Chamber will be available at the Tennocon Relay after its addition to Barricatier's shop recently, so it will be available for those that get the digital ticket and go to the Relay. Coming next to Warframe will be Operation Scarlet Spear, and as it states on screen, Tenno squads in Railjacks and on the ground must link up their operations to quell the invasion. Operation Scarlet Spear will have a new relay-like headquarters to start the missions, and yes, that does say Operation Link in the bottom left-hand corner. As a reminder, Steve did say Squad Link would be a part of the next Sentient expansion in a previous Devstream.
Okay, so this is a new environment where these missions will kick off from, and it's basically the HQ for what's about to go down for Operation Scarlet Spear. So this is, I'm going to start at the top again and go slow. I just wanted to give everyone a little look there, and then we'll do, kind of ruin the drama of that. But anyway, so here we are in our new space, and there's a lot going on here visually. So how do you approach this?
A new sentient weapon that we will be able to acquire via the operation was shown on stream, as you can see. Aiming down sights will make it automatic, and hip firing will turn it into a beam weapon. The previously shown mower will be coming to Fortuna with Scarlet Spear, and there's also a new fighter that they showed off that will be a part of Scarlet Spear for Railjack content. Separate from Operation Scarlet Spear will be the Deadlock protocol. This will be its own update. The Corpus are attempting a resurrection, uncover the secrets about their founder, and end their plans with a new Warframe Protea in the Corpus ship Remaster. This update will bring Corpus content like the radiation beam weapon, alongside a Corpus Gunblade, which they did show off in the stream. They also showed off a little clip of sounds for the upcoming remastered tile set, and in doing so, they gave us a look at some of the tiles coming with it that will be added and updated. As for Protea, they showed off the in-game effects and sounds for each of her abilities, bar one of the abilities, which was the turret.
Placeholder. I took away the messages so I don't see them, but you'll actually notice it goes away. So it pops out, and you get these little deployables here. And let's take a closer listen. Yeah. So you get these little buddies.
And so yeah, it's been great. Actually, when Jeff showed me the very first version to where it is now, it's almost completely different.
That's right. Yeah.
And you kind of develop and you get new ideas as you go along, which is
when I work on the rest of the powers, maybe they'll influence the third power, come back to it, and it sort of feedbacks on itself. So on Monday morning, I proposed the idea of what if we could just capture the engine audio as it's happening, and then when it's reversing, play it back in real time. Shout out to Jem, he's amazing.
Yeah, he is.
Yes.
He looked at me like, are you insane?
Yeah.
And now we have sort of a roughed-in concept of that might actually happen, but
And then we have a second video.
Second one.
The sound team also shared that they are still trying to improve sound indications for your health state, but there is some difficulty to it. They also showed off a new work-in-progress sentient enemy that I'll play for you now to finish up the Devstream 138 segment.
Yeah, this is from a sound point of view, keep in mind, so the animations and the design, that's other members of the team working on this.
Hopefully it works.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so some of you guys will probably remember this guy from a cinematic we recently put out. And so now he's a little more fleshed out here.
Yeah, so this is again, the spawning, it's not meant to spawn in this tile, I just went here because it looked cool.
You can hear like the singing there when
It has developed immunity to your
he moved, which is kind of, again, relates back to the original Sentient ideas.
And now I killed him, George, how do you feel?
Well.
The next round of Tennogen, that being round 18, has been announced and currently has no release date. The round will include the Baruch Bedouin skin, the Garuda Tiamat skin, Ivara Grax, Ivara Zamaru, Oberon Yulkai, Wisp Delusion, the Garuda Sakura helmet, the Heavy Blade Mizar skin, Heavy Blade Suprema skin, the Polearm Ion skin, the Polearm Jotunheim skin, the two-handed Nakana Arashi skin, the Armorless Syndana, the Seethar Syndana, the Zamaru Syndana, the Usion chest armor, Sephirim chest armor, and the Sclera Oculus. Update 27.1 also launched on the 4th of February with Kuva Lich changes, such as buffing converted Liches and their abilities overall. They removed the ability for Liches to kill you on a failed Parazon stab. They added the ability to see what weapon your Lich will spawn with when hunting Kuva Larvelings by an icon above their head. This allows players to skip the weapon by continuing with the mission and not executing it and get another roll of a weapon, hopefully next time. Valence Transfer was changed to Valence Fusion, where any stat-rolled Kuva weapon of the same type can be used to upgrade the stats of your Kuva weapon of that type. This update also introduced the Kuva Brahma, Kuva Nukor, and Kuva Hind. The Parazon modding screen now showcases previous attempts, and the chance for a Lich to generate with an ephemera is now 20%, plus numerous fixes were made overall to Kuva Liches and Railjack. 4 new augment mods were added, 2 for Baruch, 1 for Garuda, and the last one for Hildren. There's an image on screen that shows you where you can acquire them from. Ivara now has a Laverian exhibit, and her deluxe skin can also be purchased in the in-game market for Platinum. More fixes were made, but there's a card on screen and a link in the description to my coverage of that update alongside the patch notes on the forums. It's also important to note that Update 27.1 launched on each console, that being Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch. They also received Tennogen Bundle 44. Now, one skin was already in the game for you guys, but they have added the bundle, which includes the Jotunheim Syndana, the Ivara Kuvail Huntress skin, Loki Jotunheim skin, Saren Ion skin, Frost Asami skin, and the Jotunheim Spirit Oculus. The patch notes for the console update can be found in the description. For Nintendo Switch players, there is also a link down there that will take you to a forum post about motion control options and a default binding change. On top of the release of that update, DE released a feedback thread for the Kuva Lich changes that were made, so if you wish to share your feedback, the link is down there as well. Also, in regards to the Kuva Brahma, DE Marcus had stated on Twitter that we can expect something to negate the self-damage in the future since Cautious Shot doesn't work on bows, so we can expect a specific bow mod. Rebecca did chime in and say that Cautious Shot can't work as a default passive for all weapons due to the parent-child setup of all mods and that it would lead to other issues, so bows will be getting its own. Hotfix 27.1.2 also went live during this period, and it launched the Prime Vault with Necros Prime and Oberon Prime on all platforms, plus it expanded the Nightwave Intermission tier ranks to 90. 27.1.2 released later, and now players can get the same weapon back-to-back from a Lich and Larveling. They brought back this previous edition because now players can see what weapons they can get and choose whether or not they want to skip it. This hotfix alongside Lich fixes tweaked the Toxic Ancient's area of effect blast effect timing so that it is now visible before any actual damage occurs. Next up on the recap, Rebecca released Why Do We UI Like We Do Part 2, and as with the previous coverage of this developer workshop, I will link you to a full video on it so you know everything that they said. A card can be found on screen by clicking it, will take you right to it, or the link is in the description. Rebecca had also responded to a forum post asking for enemies marked for a Parazon stab to go into a down but not out state like Thralls, and if they're not Parazon stabbed within like 2 to 3 seconds, they would die. Rebecca's response was, "This is common feedback that will change the pace of lethality to a degree, but I am super interested to compile a consensus on this." On Reddit, Rebecca said that scaling excavators was internally discussed on the 30th of January this year, and it was added to the to-do list. Scott later tweeted that scaling excavators will be coming in the next mainline update. Scott also on Twitter, in reply to someone asking about his stance on fan concepts, said, "Stay tuned, might be something coming up that might work for you." So whether that is a contest or not, we don't know yet, but if you have a few of your own thoughts about a Warframe concept, keep an ear out. On Twitter, DE Publish shared that they will be adding in the next mainline update the ability to see which Railjack part is equipped to where, and a hover comparison between two items. On Reddit, Rebecca created a post celebrating the subreddit hitting 400,000 subs, with the on-screen clips that showed her spawning 400,000 clems, which ended up crashing the game. The winners of the Space Shanty contest were also announced on Primetime 278, and the lyric winners are displayed on screen now, and then the recording winners are displayed on screen now as well. In Primetime 279, they announced the winners for the Love is in the Arrow contest, and the winners are up on your screen for that now. The Acolytes and Valentine's items had also returned during this coverage period, but they have since departed. A new Prime sigil has been released as well, but only for players who have Twitch Prime. It is titled the Static Reactor Sigil. Lastly, DE George shared that they have been working on an addition to the master mix of Warframe. He shared that they now have a compressor, limiter, and clipper on the output. As for what that means, the game will sound tighter, punchier, more focused, and more in control. And I'll play the clip that he posted for you now. Anyway, that does conclude this episode of Last Week in Warframe. If you found the video informative, make sure to leave a like. If you think I can improve upon the series in any way, shape, or form, make sure to leave it in the comment section down below. And if you want the channel glyph, they are up on your screen. There are 5 codes per platform. If the code is invalid, it means someone else used it before you, as they are one-time use. And if you missed out on the previous episode, there is an annotation on screen that will take you right to it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.